principles you talk about in the book are incentives are much more than money. It really comes down to motivation and how you create an incentive structure internally that motivates people to do better.
Yeah, boy, I mean, that is a big one. And I would say, we one of our frameworks at Koch is around motivation. We call it 5 dimensions. It's like a problem solving tool, problem solving framework, and motivation. It used to be called incentives. We now call it motivation because it's much more. People think incentives, they think money.
Uh-huh.
But to your point, it's much broader than that. And motivation is about motivating long-term value creation, right? So, and you may be motivated by different things that I'm motivated by, right? You may be motivated by what teams you get to work on, who you get to work with, which exciting projects do you get to be a part of? It's not just about, okay, what's my total compensation at the end of the year? There's all these different things, right? So to break it down, like for your audience and like how we think about motivation, there's kind of 4 key areas that we want to motivate every employee to unlock their potential on. And it's not, the first thing you'd say was like, how much money are you making right now? That's not the first thing that we look at, right? It's more about cultural alignment to these principles that we're talking about. Are you, as an individual, like if Marty works at Koch, are you advancing the culture or are you taking away from it? Right. And we have a 360 process where we'd ask the people that you work with, your supervisor, even your customers, your vendors, your coworkers, hey, how's Marty doing on that? And you get very specific examples of what's going well and what's not. And so then it's like, okay, let's see how Marty's doing on culture. But then the other thing is on capability building, right? And thinking about what's Marty doing to innovate and building for the future, for his role and for his business. That's highly subjective. There's no like, you made X dollars, so therefore you get Y, right? But then we think about long-term value creation. Like, what are you doing to advance the long-term value of Koch or whatever business that you're in? And then leadership is one too. And it doesn't mean that you have to have people reporting to you to be a leader, right? It's like, are you helping others around you succeed? And it's like, how's Marty doing on that? And then, of course, there's the more objective thing is like, well, how's Marty's like P&L and how's his results? But that's a very different approach than most companies that if you're a salesperson, I brought in $10 million of business this year. And so I made X, therefore I get Y. You got to put all these subjective factors. Otherwise, you're not motivating people on a principle-based culture. So you have to have all those factors, and it's harder to do. It takes more time, and we put all that leadership back on supervisors of their people to really make recommendations on bonuses and base salaries based on those factors. And so I think that's one of the key elements of our secret sauce to build the culture that we have.